Yay.
Hey, good evening, everybody. You are watching the Pandemic Proof Singer Series. My name's Danielle Tucker. I am a singer. I'm a vocal coach. I'm a singer with the Mighty Untouchables band. And I wear a lot of hats these days, as does my guest that's joining me tonight. And I want to introduce her right away. She and I go way back. We were we graduated in the same class, same school. That was at Rancho Bernardo. And this is Draeh Jirnea. And I'm so excited to have you here tonight.
Aw, thanks. I'm excited to be here. Super
Yeah,
fun.
it's great to see your face. Tell me what you've been doing since all of this madness set in.
I know, right? Gosh, so much. Well, in the beginning, not so much. But now
Right.
it's definitely lots to juggle. But oh gosh, right now I am like full on teaching. So I have two children. I have a 12-year-old daughter. She's in the seventh grade.
Hmm.
And then I have a 7-year-old son who's in the second grade. So I am homeschooling my 7-year-old, and that is extremely challenging and time consuming and all of my energy consuming. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's a lot to say the least.
Hmm.
But it's definitely like taken a toll as far as trying my patience and my sanity
Yeah.
is concerned.
I'm 1,000% right there with you. And I have a 6 and 8-year-old, first and second grade, full time homeschooling right now. And I have the huge, huge blessing of having my neighbor, who is a retired school teacher, who's
Oh,
helping. So she and
lucky.
I
Quit
are
the
kind of
bragging.
like, yeah, it's crazy. We're going back and forth. But even still, it's a full time job
It
every single
is.
day.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind to think of, what other parents are doing that have to work away from the house and like how they're handling it. And it makes me think, well, maybe they're not handling it. And if you're not handling it, that's okay. I get it.
Yeah. No, I want to say, like, so in the beginning of COVID, like when they shut everything down, I want to say mid in March. So the kids' school year was kind of like 2/3 through.
Yeah.
And they switched everything to distance learning as much as they could during that time frame. And it wasn't really like crucial. Like they were just like, oh, we just want you guys to participate. So get online. They sent home some like worksheets and things like that. So it wasn't really like, you know, they said that they weren't going to fail anyone because of the situation, like it was
Hmm.
so unexpected and they didn't really have time to put together really significant lesson plans as a district for each and every grade, for each and every class. So they were very gracious as to the
Yeah.
grading and, everything. So they just kind of did it as a pass or fail. But again, they said they weren't going to fail anyone. So there wasn't that much pressure on us as parents, well, at least on me, to to really stay on the kids, keep them on a regimen, keep them on a schedule. Even though I did try in the beginning, okay, we're still waking up as if we're going to school because I don't want you guys to get out of the routine. But I was definitely a lot more lenient during that time frame. And then it rolled into spring break, and then like a month later, we were in summer. So it
Hmm.
wasn't that big of a deal. But now it's like it's the fall, you're in a new grade and it's go time, so everything counts. Like your future depends on me in more ways than your education future. So yeah, just a little more pressure right now.
Yeah. Well, all I can do is send my mom vibes to you as well
Yeah, and
because I
likewise,
know.
likewise. I mean, full disclosure, I did stop popping the White Claws. you know, I was mixing a little bit of White Claw with orange juice and just saying, in the beginning of COVID, I would have like maybe a little bit of the White Claw with some orange juice and just to get me through.
You have just given me a very dangerous idea. You
Oh
told
my
the wrong
gosh, do
person
not
this.
do it. I mean, the tangerine White Claw with a little splash of orange juice and just saying it's really good.
Oh my gosh. I really could have used that today because
It's
this
so
true
hot.
story, I we woke up, we kind of had our routine going, everybody was getting ready. I was fine, no stress or anything this morning.
Mhm.
First class was an art class, Zoom art class. And I go to log on 10 minutes early. Nothing went right. Couldn't find the link.
Of course.
Didn't know what teacher sent the link.
Of course.
Couldn't log into their Gmail, all the
Yeah.
things. I lost it. I totally lost it. I cried. My
Yeah.
child, my poor child. And I just told her after everything had kind of settled down, I'm like, Ashley, I want you to know that I really am okay. And sometimes you just
Mommy.
kind of have to let it out.
Yeah.
So,
At least
oh
you were the
my
one
gosh.
crying and not her. Unlike at my house,
That's
my
true.
son's always the one crying over here because he says I'm the worst teacher in the world. He says, I'm like, well,
Oh my gosh.
that's fine. You're stuck with me, kid.
Yeah. Oh man, to all the moms out there. Shout
Say
out
the
to all the
yes,
moms out there. You're
sending
doing
those
fine.
vibes.
Yes, you're doing fine. Oh my gosh. Well, I want to jump into singing career. So we'll back way up. You and I met in high school, and
Yes,
you were a singer then.
yes.
And you were I mean, you were really actively singing, but take me back even further and just kind of give me a little walk through what your journey has been as a singer.
So you're right. In high school, I was actually actively performing and singing even then, but and that my senior year is actually when I started my professional career. But my before then, I was raised in the church, so I'm the son of a preacher, the daughter of a preacher man. Listen to me quoting lyrics. No, anyways, yes, daughter of a preacher man, and so I'm preacher's kid. So I grew up in the church, singing in the church, and I want to say my first solo. I mean, everybody always says, "Oh, I was little," but I actually was. We have it on video.
Yeah.
I was 3 years old when I did my first solo in church, and it just I continued to sing from there. And every little school talent show, graduation, whatever, I always performed at. I wanted to sing. I just loved it. I made up songs. I wrote songs growing up. And then it just carried on through middle school. And then I was in choir in middle school, did some of the musicals, musical theater. Um, and then again in high school, I didn't really get along with the choir director in high school. I don't know if you got along with her, but I did not. But so I decided that was just not the avenue I wanted to continue in. And then, but still did musical theater, still pursued music. Um, all the way into college. And then I didn't study music in school. I took a couple music theory classes, but it was not my major. But yeah, I just started singing professionally at from 17 on and joined
Yeah.
my first band at 19.
What
So
was the band?
Rockola.
Yes. That's a pretty good first job, I'd say.
Yeah, I was very blessed. So quick story. Shout out to Doug Booth. He was my customer. I think it was 18 actually. Gosh, yeah. Or just turned 18, not 18 yet. I don't know. He always claims that he was like, he had to get permission from my parents. So I was working at Starbucks my senior year of high school. And and to avoid talking to customers, I would sing at the bar because in the old days, kids at Starbucks, we actually had to make the drinks. So you didn't just press the button and the espresso would come out. We actually had to like pump it, tap it, press it,
Uh-huh.
whatever. And so I would do that specifically and not talk to anybody and just work at the bar. So I would have to deal with all the customer service and the complaints and it's too hot. I want it extra hot, one sweet low, whatever. So I would sing behind the bar to
Mhm.
avoid having to talk to anybody. And Doug was a regular customer at this particular Starbucks, and he would come and he would hear me singing. And one day he's like, "Hey, you kind of got a nice voice. So you ever thought about making money off of that thing?" And I'm like, "What? No, maybe." And so he's like, "I got this band. We're looking for a female singer. You want to come and audition?" And I said, "Sure." So the rest is history. I started singing with Rockola as their lead female background vocalist and got to travel all over with them
Mhm.
and make some great relationships that I still cherish to this day. It was a great first band to be a part of. I'm very honored and blessed to say that I was a very small piece part in that band, but it's very lots and lots and lots of talent, good quality, amazing musicianship in that group. So I had a really good foundation coming into this industry. So, and I have
Yeah.
all those guys to thank for
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
especially
Great
Doug
guys.
Booth and Larry
Thanks.
Grano.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Larry. When you got going in that, like a working singer situation, what what were your plans as far as where did you want to take singing? Were you thinking of becoming a recording artist and kind of going down that track, or were you just happy going down the working singer path?
You know what? Honestly, I had a recording contract in high school
Mm.
and with Warner Brothers. And so when coming out of high school, I had that recording contract, and they were trying to kind of fit me into a market because it didn't quite, my voice didn't fit the same genre as, because remember, I'm the same age. I'm giving myself away right now. I came out around the same time as Britney Spears, Justin
Hmm.
Timberlake, Christina Aguilera. It was all that very heavy pop. They
Mm.
all coming off of the Mickey Mouse Club. Um, and my voice was a lot I don't want to say mature sounding, but I had definitely I had a more of an older feel to my voice and my style of music, and I loved jazz, and that was my influence. And so I didn't really fit in that genre of pop. And
Hmm.
so when I got approached by Warner Brothers, they wanted to put me in more of an adult contemporary um, type of music, but I wasn't feeling it because I was like, no, I'm 18. I want to,
Yeah. I want to
I
be with
want
the
to do the
cool
younger stuff.
kids.
Yeah, I want to be with the cool kids. And so my parents, my dad especially, was very protective, and he was not feeling one of the producers and managers that worked there. And so we decided to decline the deal that they offered. And so I ended up not making a record with them. And being 18 out of high school and freshman college, I'm like, my whole world is over, you've ruined my life, so dramatic, like
Hmm.
I'll never be able to sing again. And so when I got this opportunity to start working in cover bands, I was super excited, but always my ultimate goal was to be a recorded artist, to get that contract and pursue a solo career in that avenue. But because I was told that, oh, your voice is, you belong here, I
Hmm.
never really felt like I could cross over and be where my heart was, in a more just a different genre.
Hmm.
And so that kind of pigeonholed held me. It
Hmm.
was my own doing by allowing outside voices to influence me that way, instead of listening to my gut and going with what I wanted to do. I always kind of just tried to stay in that mold that they had already prefabricated for me. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, now that you're at where you're at, looking back at that experience, um, do you have any regrets, or are you kind of happy with the way things went? Do you think you dodged a bullet, or what do you
I
think?
mean, I really think my dad has had great intuition as far as the the motives behind
Hmm.
the gentleman that was trying to get me going in that industry. So I trust his judgment call on that. I trust his decision, definitely. um, However, I do wish I would have been a little more confident in myself, um, you know, in trusting my voice and trusting my gift and my art to
Hmm.
pursue it the way I wanted to do it. I am very grateful and thankful, though, that I was able to make and still am a successful career, being a singer in several different cover bands, and I've made a pretty good living for myself. I do it full time, so
Hmm.
it's been fairly lucrative for that. As far as me, though, being able to be more creative, because I'm so focused on getting it, like the record or learning new material for a show and whatever,
Hmm.
it doesn't really give me a lot of time creatively to write and record my own original music. And that's always been a dream of mine because I do
Yeah.
write. I just haven't had the time to put it down on paper or put it down on an album.
Yeah.
So,
I can totally relate to that
yeah.
100%. And I think a lot about the fact that the generation that we're coming from and during those high school years was really that pivotal time in the music industry because the Napster thing was happening. The music, I mean, the industry was like radically shifting from one model to another. And
Yeah.
so, you know, you're going from just the traditional, like everybody wants a big label recording contract. That is
Hmm.
the way, that's the only way to do it. And I mean, indie artists were really not, I mean, I shouldn't say this, but it wasn't the path most wanted to pursue.
Well, not
Um,
and be successful. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
now, a handful of years later,
Just a
you know,
handful, one handful.
yeah, a spoonful of years later, here we are, this new era of music where really the playing field is so leveled and everybody has access to the tools, you know, and
Yeah.
I think that there's so many factors that maybe don't matter as much anymore. You know,
Right.
back then, I mean, I worked for an entertainment attorney. Um, and I remember sitting in their office one day and they were discussing an artist and talked about how like, well, she's 26, so it's a little late in the game. And I kept thinking,
Right.
oh my gosh, you know?
You're like, I'm old at 26. What?
Yeah. That's just not the case though anymore. So it's
I mean, I
kind of
feel like
gives
it
a lot of
is and it
hope.
isn't. It is
Yeah.
and it isn't. It's definitely still a very image driven industry.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people are honest with how old they are these days.
Mhm.
Actually, I don't think they ever have been honest. Um, but I will say certain genres of music are a lot more forgiving than others
Yeah.
when it comes to age. I
Mhm.
feel like if you're trying to be a pop artist, you need to hit that ground running at like 16, 17,
Mhm.
and you have a shelf life of maybe 10 years.
Mhm.
Because at like 27, 28, you know what I mean? If you're still singing about, certain subject matters, it's like, really though, like you're about to be 30, like really, so I mean, I feel like certain genres are a lot more forgiving. Like I feel like maybe like country music, jazz,
Mhm.
um, even gospel or Christian contemporary music, you have a little bit more room, time
Mm.
frame wise, age wise, to pursue that as a career. But if you're trying to do the pop or like the indie, I feel like you need to be a little bit and pursue it as a career, like
Right.
hardcore, like going on tour, shooting videos, being like, like I feel like a
Yeah.
younger person is gonna
No doubt about it.
be good
There
at
are
it.
so many advantages. I mean, if you are real young, get
Yeah,
going on that as soon as you can. But
right.
I just think you know, with what's available online too, like we were talking about, just style and
Yeah,
your particular sound. I think there's so much more space available for
right. That is
your
very true.
unique sound quality, artistry, and everything. There's a lot more interest in other than kind of trying to fit the mold as much, you know?
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, yeah. So, how tell me about some of the bands that you have been singing with in the past couple of years.
So the past couple years, I've been singing primarily with just maybe like two or three. Kicks band, Gary Harston owns that one, and we've been working pretty consistently for the past few years together, and it's a great group. I love my front line that I get to work with. Shout out to Spencer Tracton and Kate Emmeline. But I love Gary, Stefan, just all the guys. It's just they're just a great group of guys to work with.
Mhm.
So that's one of them, Kicks, and Gary's just so good at like kind of keeping everybody together, making sure we're working consistently and everything. So that really is helpful. And then another band I work with quite often is the Lucky Devils Band, which is kind of like it's not your typical cover band. It's more of like a bunch of freelance musicians are able to get together and accept gigs if they're available for
Mhm.
different weddings and corporate events, private events like that. So I do work with them often. And then, gosh, another band that I recently, I want to say as of, was it last year or year before last? Gosh, I'm all turned around now because we've been out working for so long.
Right.
I would have, I think
Oh.
2018, I don't know. It's all a blur. Um, Soulville, and they're out of LA,
Okay.
Orange County. And
Okay.
I've been able to work with them a lot and kind of be in a different market, which has been great and exciting and new, and work with different musicians and different singers, which has been awesome. Um, those LA people, man, they keep you on your toes. I'll tell you that. You got to know your stuff. And then another band, Encore Entertainment, um, with Susan Foster. That's been super, super fun in Armando. Great group. And then I kind of hop around, Danielle. Gosh,
Mhm.
I feel like I'm such a little hoe. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Kind of good. Just kidding. Um, and then we see who else. Where else? Um, Besides Encore. I did a little bit with Republic of Music with Tiana,
Okay.
and that was really fun. Not so much um, in the last year or so, but a fairly good chunk full of gigs past
Mhm.
couple of years. I would say, and that's such a good group. So much energy, so professional, so much fun to work with. Can't say enough great things about them. I've been blessed to work with amazing people,
Yeah.
amazing. And
Yeah.
then the old Mighty Untouchables, all those
Yes.
musicians, great group
What
of
was the
guys.
name? Uh,
Innovation.
Innovation. Yes.
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 So I mean, it's just I've been very blessed to work with amazing, amazing groups. So, like I said, Rockola was the foundation, but from there, you know how it is. You get introduced to different musicians working on gigs and stuff, and then you get referred, and oh, I got this group. We're looking for, and then you can sing or fill in, or
Mhm.
if you need a sub or whatever. It's always great. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I think we're really, really lucky in San Diego
we
because
are.
are some,
It's
I
big,
mean,
but not. It's small.
exactly, exactly. And there's so many great bands out here. Not only that, there's here, a ton of work. There was just no shortage of work. And so we just, I mean, it's a beautiful thing that you have that opportunity to work with a number of bands, but have this be your full-time
Yeah.
profession, you know? Um, so you said that you were obviously doing this full time and then
Hmm.
COVID hits and of
Yeah.
course the brakes are
Yeah.
thrown onto that. Um, what was that like for you? I mean, was it like devastating? Was it a relief for a little bit or what were you thinking
Um,
at the time?
you know what? That's so funny that you say was it a relief? I want to say so 2020 for me because I left San Diego for a little while and I came back. So this is my what 6th year back, 7th year back. Um, After being gone for almost 3 years.
Mhm.
And I I literally had to kind of like rebuild
Mm.
my career.
Mhm.
And it took me a good 3-4 years to kind of like get back. I'm back,
Yeah,
like let
yeah.
people know that Draeh's back. And this is, call me. I need to work. Um, because I had done it for so long with Rockola, and then, with innovation before they were Mighty Untouchables, and then other bands as well. And then boom, I left. And in 2011. And then when I got back in 2015, when I came back on the scene, 2014, 15, it was touch and go. It was pretty tough. And so this year, 2020, was going to be my busiest year of gigging, like in the history of me being back.
Mhm.
So I was super excited. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes. I made it. You know, I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be able to finally pay off some things and,
Yeah.
you know, maybe
Yeah.
get in a house. I don't know. It's so exciting. And then boom, we're not working at all anymore for whoever knows how
Aw.
long. So I was pretty devastated, to say the least, when we got the word of, you know, everything being shut down. And it really forced me to do something that I don't like to do, and that's sit still
Mm-hmm.
and be alone, which is another thing I don't like, is to be alone. That's why I had kids. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, just to be alone in my thoughts and, you know, to really like focus internally, you know, on me and what really is going on inside. And because I just work, you know, and everything that I've been through in my life, trials and hard times and tragedy, you know, it's like I didn't really have the chance to really deal with a lot of that stuff because I've been always working, or I became a mother, or, you know, I moved and had another life situation happen personally. And, you know, then I had another kid, and then, you know, it's just like all these things. And so, and then recently, last year, I had another major tragedy happen in my life. And so I hadn't really dealt with the loss. I hadn't really grieved or anything because I just went right back into working. And coming up on my busiest year yet, I was like, great, I don't have to deal with it for another year. This is awesome. You know, it's going to work. And so I was forced to really stop and focus on everything that was going on inside. And that, Danielle, wow, that was tough. That was really, really hard. I have never had to deal with my emotions that way. So there was a lot of, I did a lot of praying, a lot of crying, a lot of thinking, more crying. And yeah, I went into a little bit of a depression, a little bit of a depressed mode. I gave myself, like, I want to say 2 weeks of just complete, just not even caring. Like, for those people who know me, know that I get up every day, I get dressed every day, I put makeup on every day, you know, and for 2 weeks, which is like 2 months for me to not do any of those things, that's like a big deal.
Yeah.
And so even though 2 weeks doesn't seem like a lot, you know, when you put it on a calendar, but for me to have to not do anything that I know, to get out of my normal routine, that was a really long time. And I still, even after that couple weeks of just complete checking out of everything, you know, I still had even more time to kind of like get back to getting out of bed, exercising, you know, like just getting out of the house, you know, just doing anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty tough. Pretty tough.
Yeah. How do you think that this has changed you? Like, let's say things just magically open back up tomorrow and boom, we're back on
This
the
weekend,
scene.
we're working again.
How does it change your perspective on the way you were working, what the work meant to you, or the just the way you approach your career?
I think that saying, you never know what you have until you don't have it anymore,
Mm-hmm.
is definitely plays true to our time right now. Um, I have been able to gig a few times um, with some band members, and it's been amazing to be
Yeah.
on stage again. I'm sure you can relate, you know, and to just to be with your friends, like they're your family, you know. These
Yes.
are people that you
Yes.
see like 4 days a week for 4 or 5 hours at a time, you know, and to not have that, you miss them, you know.
Mhm.
And so, and then not to mention just doing your craft, doing what you love to do. That's also a huge part of it. So I mean, it's been great. To what would be different if I would get on stage again? Well, the times that I have been able to get on stage again, I've definitely cherished the moment of me performing and just being with my fellow bandmates. And you know what? Also, I just haven't been in like such a rush. Like before, I was just like so stressed and, trying to get the kids taken care of, the babysitter, blah, 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 blah. And then like packing my gig bag and making sure, just in such a hustle. And
The hustle.
yes,
Yeah.
girl, it is
Yeah.
real. But I just now I find myself being better at planning because I've had
Mhm.
so much time.
Mhm.
So now, I have a system. I've got my bag packed. I've got my snacks. I've got, everything kind of like organized. I'm way more organized now. Um, and I'm on time, which my band is probably like, wait, what? Why are you here? Like, like, there's still like, yeah, they're like, Draeh, you're like the first person here. I'm like, oh, damn. It's just, I don't know. It just felt, I'm definitely taking it in a totally different stride these days,
Mhm.
like really taking it in, being a lot more thankful and appreciative of,
Yeah.
the opportunities I have to perform and to share and to just make music. It's been
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was thinking when you said, how much you miss your bandmates and that they're your family. I mean, most people who work in a band situation would probably agree, unless you've got weird chemistry, in a
Yeah.
band. But if you've been together long enough, it is a family bond. And working entertainers, of course, it's entertaining to
Yeah.
be in a group of people like that. And I think one of the things that I'm just missing so bad is the laughter and
Yeah. The
just
jokes
the
in the green room,
jokes. Yeah, and just this
making fun of the drunk guy on the dance floor.
yeah, all those things. And I really I miss that, because
Yeah.
I just can't joke around with my kids the same way. They're not into it. So, but yeah, I know. I really do feel the same way that you do. I think that when we have the opportunity to go back, it's gonna be appreciated, on a
Yeah.
whole new level. Um,
Yeah.
do
I
you
have
feel
found myself like doing things now that I never did before because I didn't have the time to do. I mean, I always made time to be healthy and to exercise and because I'm super active. Like I said, I can't sit still. But
Mhm.
now I find myself like I took up running, Danielle. I'm a runner now,
Mm,
and just I mean, exercising, a whole new lifestyle of eating, like just totally different. And it's really forced me to like really take care of me.
yeah.
And so because when I'm good, then I can be good for my kids and my family. So I think that, the the beauty in all of this is really allowed me to take time to really see, okay, Dre, these are the areas where you really need a lot of improvement.
Mhm.
So let's see how we can work on this to be better.
Yeah.
And it's really shed some light on some dark places where I needed to like give a little more attention
Yeah.
to. And I think I'm not perfect by any means, but I'm definitely doing a lot of house cleaning
Mm,
in some
yeah.
of those areas. So,
Yeah. I like that term. I think I kind of took off in the polar opposite direction that you
okay.
took. I went down the exact opposite road. But you know what, though? And I don't, I'm not trying to make excuses for myself, but honestly, with the level of stress and just the level of, it's not just stress, it's pure shock to your system,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like, I don't feel that bad about it because I dealt with it the way I needed to,
yeah.
and there were, like you said, there were so many things that you're faced with. A
Hmm.
lot of it is like returning to your family dynamic, and the
Hmm.
way you're a mom right now is totally different than what it was before all this
Oh,
started,
for sure. For sure.
you had that opportunity to go out and kind of get reinvigorated by the work that you're doing. You can cut you home to the kids and you're happy and fresh again. But right now it's just seeing you kind of every day in your purest form, which it may be a little messy, but part of me just thinks it's okay. You know, maybe
Yeah.
we're returning to a a family dynamic that we kind of needed to get back to and just didn't
I
know
think so.
it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
see my daughter.
Hi.
We're not done yet. I finished the kitchen. Okay, good.
So about the kids, are
Yes.
they musical? Are they going down that path?
You know what? So my daughter definitely more musical, showing signs of more
Hmm.
interest in music than my son through dance. She's interested in the arts that way. So
Okay.
she's my little ballerina.
Mm.
She loves to dance. Zeb claims, that's my son, he claims he wants to play the guitar.
Mm.
So anybody want to give my son guitar lessons, call
Hey.
me. I'll hit you up. But yeah. So I mean, Savannah sings very well. She
Hmm.
has a beautiful voice, but she doesn't. She hasn't really said, mommy, I want to be a singer. Or showed interest that way. She's more into dance and now volleyball.
Hmm.
My son kind of says he wants to learn to play the guitar, but would much rather, you know, play soccer, do anything boy active sports. So
Yeah.
not yet. I'm trying to I don't want to push them, but I
Yeah.
keep, dropping hints like, well, mommy knows a bunch of musicians, so pick an instrument. Or, I could give you voice lessons or whatever. They're just like, no,
Yeah.
they're not
I
into it
know.
yet.
I think they're mine are into it, but they don't really want me to have anything to do with it.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's like, you
it's
don't know
fine.
anything, mom. And I'm just like, wait, what? Are you serious right now? I don't, my daughter told me, she's like, you just don't know my style. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, wait till sorry, I feel like it's getting really dark. I'm just
Uh,
wait till your daughter tells you don't know anything, when she gets into her preteen phase.
yeah.
I'm going to
No,
turn where there's a little better lighting.
I have it coming for sure. I know.
Oh yeah. The
Um,
sass is real.
yeah. On the topic of kids,
Yes.
so you have two young kids. Were you actively singing when you had the kids, and like what was the parenthood situation for
Sorry, I'm
you?
trying to get better lighting. I was actively singing when I was pregnant. So I was on stage 2 weeks before I delivered and 2 weeks after. So that's the question, right? You asked. Can you hear me? Did I hit something?
Where there's a little breakup, but I can hear you
Oh,
still.
okay. So yeah, I was. You asked if I was singing when I was before I had the kids, or what was the question?
What parenthood was like for you? Were you actively singing um, when you had kids and during?
Like during pregnancy and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was performing. I performed 2 weeks, up to 2 weeks before I delivered my first child, and I was back on stage 2 weeks after she was born. Um, and then I took a little bit of time off her first year,
Hmm.
and then I dove right back into it full time when she was about 1.5, 2.
Hmm.
And then I then moved to Oklahoma City. Anyways, that's a whole nother episode. um, when she was 3 years old in 2011, and then I came back in 2014. Yes, it's 14. Back on the scene.
Hmm.
And then at that time I had my son,
Hmm.
and I was trying to juggle. That was definitely challenging, trying to juggle a baby and a 6-year-old, as a single mom,
Hmm.
um, and then work as a musician. Cause we all know musician life it's a hard life. I mean, it's not hard, but it is a hustle.
Hmm.
And I recommend a side hustle, maybe two,
Yeah.
in the beginning when you're trying to really get in there. Because, as a mother of two, I can't really do those club gigs, during the week.
Yeah.
Because number one, it's just not the hours, that they have the live music doesn't work for the schedule of a parent as a single parent. And then it's not lucrative,
Hmm.
for me to pay a babysitter and then go out to try to make $100, if that, on a Thursday night. So I was really trying hard to manage my music career and motherhood and, you know, adulthood all at
Mm-hmm.
the same time. So it was very challenging. It's very challenging. So if you're going to be a musician, I recommend doing it while you are without kids. And if you have kids, make
Yeah.
sure you have a partner or a really supportive family that can babysit for you and help you out,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a lot to manage.
Yeah.
Still is, even though my kids are older now, but definitely while they're young, it was hard to manage alone.
Yeah. How did you make it work? Was it leaning on family or?
Definitely leaning on family, leaning on supportive friends. I have a huge support system out here in San Diego. I didn't have that as much in Oklahoma City. I actually didn't sing at all while I was there, which
Okay.
was devastating. But again, another episode.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you definitely learn how to ask. As
Yeah.
someone who's extremely independent, I found it hard and challenging at times to ask for help, to put myself out there, to be vulnerable, to say I can't do it all. You know, even though sometimes I think I can, but we can't, and it's okay that you can't. And so it was really it was tough, but you know I learned a lot. It was a very humbling time in my life
Mm-hmm.
to have to ask for help, and to take certain gigs that I now am very blessed that I don't have to do anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, in the beginning, it was like, I just want to work. So you're just pretty much taking anything you can
Yeah.
and then just trying to figure it out, you know? And I had a very supporting mom and very supportive aunts and friends that were able to help out that way. So
Yeah. Okay.
I made it
Yeah.
happen. I made it happen, Danielle.
That's that's what you've got to do. I mean, like you said, the musician life is it's so different. This it's not a 9 to 5, so
No,
it's not like your traditional caregivers are
yeah,
available during the hours.
right.
So you're up against a lot of tough things. And
Yeah,
gosh, my sweet husband was
yeah.
just thrown into the fire as a dad when I had the
Yeah.
babies. 'Cause like you, I went back immediately. I mean, I
Hmm.
was like feeding babies on breaks, green
Yeah,
room, pumping.
I was pumping in the hallway of a casino one night. And I'm like, there's gotta be a better life than this.
Oh man, oh God, do you ever look back on that and just think like, what a freaking circus of a time that
Oh
was?
my God. Like I just can't even believe some of the stuff I would have to do. Or I do remember, and this is probably too much information. I don't know what rating we're trying to have on the Facebook Live, but I'll keep it PG. But I do remember being on stage, and it was right after I had my son.
Uh-huh.
Not right after but I sorry, I was a nursing mother. And so for those of you who don't know much about nursing, you know, we are the food source for the baby.
Yeah.
You are. And I remember, you know, like being, you know, we're in a dance band and I'm doing my thing, I'm on stage, and all of a sudden I'm like, you just feel like, I got a nurse, I gotta go, you know. I
Sprung a
just
leak.
I go, oh. So, and I was in the middle of a song. And so thank God I had on black. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
Um, and so I had to excuse myself like before the end of the set and go to the bathroom. And I just remember I'm like, okay, Draeh, you are doing too much. Like there either you need to wean him or
Mhm.
you need to like we need to really figure this out because that can't happen again. So yeah, there's a I have so many stories like that one where I'm just like, okay, I
Mhm.
gotta get through this. Let me just get through this, you know, carrying my breast pump with freezer bags and like, you know, ice packs and a cooler to
Yeah.
gigs, you know, not to mention my other suitcase of my clothes and my boots and my whatever, you know, so it's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot.
It is a lot. I think motherhood those times, especially,
Yeah.
when there's so little like that, it really, really shows you what you are made of and
Oh, for
what you
sure.
are capable of pulling off. And I too also had, a ton of support. And so I have to credit, everybody that was on the
Of
team,
course, me
but
too.
it's
Yeah.
still a lot. And I think maybe we need to like channel that strength that we had back then and apply it right now with the homeschooling, and just keep reminding ourselves like, look, I made it through that period of time, and it almost does it's the situation now. It is such a an emotional and energetic draw on you
Hmm.
that by like 2 o'clock I'm like wasted. I mean, I'm no good for the
You
rest
are
of the
tapped
day.
out. I mean,
Yeah.
just now I was like, okay, I got still, I need to go to the grocery store. I need to do this. We need to go and get new ballet shoes. Like just it never ends. Like it does not stop. And
Hmm.
I got back home from running errands at, I would say 3:34,
Yeah.
and I knew I was going to be talking to you this evening, so I was going to try and squeeze in maybe one or two more errands, hit up the grocery store and the ballet store in an hour and a half. And when I
Mhm.
stopped, because my son, because he was with me today running errands, we were behind in schoolwork today. Because I thought, oh, I'll just take his math lesson in the car. He'll do it in the car. No. Um, so we get back home and nothing is done.
Yeah.
So I had to stop, finish teaching him for the day so
Hmm.
I could be on time for the call with you. So,
Yeah.
needless to say, those two errands will have to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you gotta let a few things slide and be
Yes, and
okay
that is
with it.
something I'm learning. Let it just, it's okay, Drea. It's
Hmm.
okay. If it doesn't get done today, you did your best. And you
Yeah.
know what? There's tomorrow. Let's just
Yeah.
put it on tomorrow's list. So,
Hmm. And I can see you are doing your best, and I
aw,
admire you so much. You're a great talent, and
thank you.
it's been awesome, to know you all these years and to see all of the things that you've accomplished, and just knowing the you know the things that you've had to deal with, and having children and everything. You're so strong, and I
Thank you.
admire you so, so much, and
Oh,
really
thanks.
appreciate that you took the time to do this.
Oh.
And just know that there's another mom out there rooting for you every day. And if you we may have to like crack a white claw together one of these times over
Girl,
lunch.
you just say the time and the place. I will bring the 18 pack. I think it's 18 pack.
Yes.
Oh, see how I
Yeah,
know that?
that'll
Yeah,
work.
bring the 18 variety pack over. Also, too, there's these things at Costco. I'm probably sounding like the biggest alcoholic on your show right now, but there's these popsicles at Costco. Have you
What?
seen them? They're like these vodka cocktail popsicles. Amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, maybe
You're
I'll bring
you're
those over.
changing my life right now.
I'm not even that heavy of a drinker, but I saw these popsicles. They're like otter pops for adults. I'm like, wait, what? This is amazing. So
Mommy pops.
yeah, mommy pops, honey. Mommy pops for sure. And daddy pops super nice.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Where can everybody go to check out your musicianship? Is there a social that you're really active on, or
See, that
website?
was my goal this year, Danielle,
Mhm.
2020, to be better at posting and letting people know what I'm doing. But since I haven't done anything this year, I haven't posted anything. So usually I do post things on Facebook and Instagram,
Mhm.
but since the schedule has been non-existent this year so far, I haven't posted anything. But we do have Kickspan does have a video out
Yeah,
on
yeah, I totally
YouTube
meant to
that we
ask.
did a month and a half ago,
Mhm.
and I can't even believe I was not even expecting it to get as many views as it's gotten. I think we're almost at 60,000 and it's only been 2 months.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
I am super proud of that. The band did great. It was super fun to shoot the video. I did it at my kid's dad's house downtown, and it was so fun. And the kids are in it, and my dog is in it. It's just so fun.
Yeah.
So
It's
you can
great.
check
It's
that out on
really
YouTube,
great.
huh?
It's great, I said.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really fun to do a little COVID video. Everybody's shooting it in their house, but yeah, I when I do post, and when I do get gigs, I usually try to post it on Facebook and on
Mhm.
Instagram, and you just go under Draeh Jirnea,
Mhm.
and that's my handle for Instagram as well as Facebook. So,
Mhm. Awesome. Or Google her. Just
or
Google her.
Google me. Yeah, you'll see all. Oh gosh, oh geez, you'll see all kinds of things on there. American Idol,
That's
old
right.
stuff,
Oh my
old
gosh, there's
stuff.
so many things we didn't get to talk about.
It's okay, girl. I'm old. That's why I've done a lot.
We'll have to have part two of our call.
Part two, yeah.
Yeah. Well, before we say goodnight, I need to either remind or let you know, let everybody out there know about, I'll be hosting a summit on November 16th through 18th, and it's called the Pandemic Proof Singer Summit. There is going to be this insane lineup of vocal professionals from all different categories within the industry, vocal coaches, marketing professionals, health and wellness professionals. It's basically your toolkit to step into 2021 and really, really thrive despite whatever the conditions are that we're going to be facing as an industry. So save the date, everybody, for
Yeah,
November 16th through 18th. And oh yes, I actually have a Facebook page up now. So if you look up Pandemic Proof
awesome.
Singer Summit, you'll find it, join it, and you can keep up to date on all that's going on with it. So I guess we'll say goodbye for now, and
Aw,
love to have you back on again to do this
yeah,
another
anytime, just let
time.
me know. Let me know. We'll
Yeah,
have part two, or we can talk about the real deep, dirty, dark stuff. No, I'm just
we'll
kidding.
get dirty with it. Awesome. I love it.
We'll have
All
white
right.
coffee. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
good to see you.
You
Thanks for having me.
too. Yeah. Thank you. Have a great
Okay.
night. See you
All right,
soon.
you too.
Take
Bye.
care.